Hari name. So it says, I offer my respectful obeisance unto His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. I offer my respectful obeisances to Shri Varshavani Videvi Dayita Dasa, another name of Srila bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati, who is favored by Srimati Radharani and who is the ocean of transcendental mercy and the deliverer of the science of Krishna. And I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the personified energy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, who delivers devotional service enriched with conjugal love of Shri Sri Radha and Krishna, coming directly in the line of revelation of Sri Rupa Goswami. And finally, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you, who are the personified teachings of Lord Chaitanya. You are the deliverer of the fallen souls. You do not tolerate any statement against the teachings of devotional service enunciated by Srila Rupa Goswami. So these are 4 different pranam mantras for Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. Just to show you how significant he is in the parampara. So Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur was a strict follower or integral follower of Srila Rupa Goswami. He wouldn't tolerate anything that deviated from Rupa Goswami's instructions. And Prabhupada says that he strictly followed the Rupa Nuga principle. That principle, Prabhupada says, Srila Rupa Goswami writes in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, you somehow engage people in Krishna consciousness. Yena kena prakarena manak Krishna nivesayat. So Srila Prabhupada says that some of our friends criticize that I have done this or I have done that. Swami Maharaj, he is doing like this, he is doing like that. Prabhupada says, yes, we are doing everything, but our main business is just to inspire people to take to Krishna consciousness. That is the secret. You have to inspire people. Then, even if there is some discrepancy in the rules and regulations, it does not matter. Rupa Goswami has said, Sarva Vidi Nisedaya Syur Etayor Eva Kinkara. So he means that somehow or other, you bring people to Krishna consciousness. Some things can be changed, Prabhupada says, according to Desa Kala Patra. That is, the place, the time, the circumstances. But the principle is pholena parichyate. We must judge from the result whether one has become Krishna conscious or not. Then we say that what we want, this is the rule. Once you become Krishna conscious, then we can say, this is the rule. So you do things like this, you don't do things like that. In other words, Prabhupada said also, well, he says that in the beginning, one must be very tolerant with new devotees. But as people or devotees begin to understand Krishna consciousness, then you tighten the screws. So sometimes you go like this to put a screw onto to screw it onto a not a nail, but what is it called? Yeah. And then you get your tool and you really tighten it. So he says in the beginning we should be tolerant because people have to get used to being Krishna conscious. It's not an easy thing. But as they begin to understand, then you tighten the screw. So you have to follow all the rules and regulations. But you don't force them in the beginning because they might go away. Right? So, therefore, dharma svanishtitak pumsa vishvaksena katasuyat nabadayad yadiratim shama eva hi kevalam. Bhagavad Gita 1-2-8. That is, that even if you follow all the rules and regulations, and at the end you don't become Krishna conscious, it is useless what you did. So the whole idea is to become Krishna conscious, to develop love for Krishna. That is the real goal. But one must do it in the beginning by following the rules and regulations of sadhana bhakti. So when Prabhupada came to the United States in the beginning, nobody knew what a pure devotee is. No one knew how to treat a genuine guru. But he established his authority not by dictate. He didn't come with a paper and say, I am guru, you have to listen to what I say. He established his authority by affection and love. Dadati pratigrinanti guyam akyati prichati. Punkte bojayate jaiva sadvida pratilakshanam. In other words, pratilakshanam means that there are 6 ways of showing your love. 1 is by giving prasadam, and 2 is by receiving prasadam. 3 is by giving knowledge, and 4 is by receiving knowledge. And 5 is by saying endearing things about Krishna, and 6 is hearing endearing things about Krishna. So these are 6 loving exchanges of in Krishna consciousness, and a temple is a place to actually experience these 6 loving exchanges with other devotees and other people. So therefore it says, Prabhupada says, he exchanged things with his devotees, giving and receiving prasadam, giving and receiving gifts, and sharing endearing thoughts about Krishna. So Prabhupada says in the beginning there may be many difficulties because we go to places where people's behavior, people's culture is completely opposite to Krishna consciousness. But we have to find a means, a strategy to bring them to Krishna. And Prabhupada says that it is my first business, that is the secret, to bring people somehow or other to Krishna consciousness. Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur also followed strictly Rupa Goswami. He introduced that a sannyasi can go begging in a motor car. Previously, sannyasis could only walk barefoot. But Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati, early on, came in a British car, a convertible British car, into Vrindavan. When I went to Vrindavan the first time, there was hardly even one car there. Everything was tangas and rickshaws. And that is in the 1970s. Right? In 1930, Bhakti Siddhanta drove into Vrindavan in a big British car that was a convertible. Now just imagine that, as a sannyasi. There's a picture of that also. So he introduced that a sannyasi can go begging in a motor car. He introduced that sannyasis can even live in a palatial building. But Rupa Goswami lived under a tree. But we cannot imitate that. Therefore, here in Mayapur, there are palatial buildings, and devotees are going around in buses and nice cars and preaching Krishna consciousness. In Vrindavana, there are many Babajis. They just have a little loincloth on, but many of them are doing nonsense. Prabhupada said, imitation is not required. The real thing is required. So he said, what is the purpose of a Goswami? Somehow or other engage people in Krishna consciousness. That's the purpose of the sannyasi. Prabhupada said, that is my Guru Maharaja. That is my Guru Maharaja's gift. He first of all stated that there is no need to go to Vrindavana and imitate the Goswamis. You can live in big cities, you can live in palatial houses, but preach Krishna consciousness. So therefore, give the people a chance to understand Krishna. He opened many centers in big cities. He is speaking, Prabhupada is speaking about his Guru Maharaj. He said, we are also doing that because we are strictly following the principles of Rupa Goswami, which is somehow or other bring people to Krishna consciousness. You might use the strategy of pizza. Or there might be a festival, or there might be who knows what, anything that can bring them somehow or other to Krishna consciousness, right? There are cows, there are farms, there's Sankirtan, there's Bhakti Shastri, there are so many things, right? So Prabhupada said, somehow or other, everything is coming out successfully. Krishna consciousness should be pushed forward according to this principle of the Rupanuga principle. On Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur's appearance day in 1975, Prabhupada said, in front of Lord Chaitanya, by the grace of Lord Krishna, and in the presence of my Guru Maharaj, you are chanting Hare Krishna. You are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra very seriously. So my Guru Maharaj will be very, very pleased upon you. He will bless you with all benefits. He wanted this. It is not that he is dead and gone. That is not spiritual understanding. Even an ordinary being doesn't die. Nahanyate hanyamane sarire. What to speak of such an exalted authorized personality like Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur Prabhupada? He is seeing you now. Prabhupada now says, I never felt that I am alone. When I came to the United States like a pauper, like a poor man, no friends, no money, but I was full of faith that my Guru Maharaja is with me. I never lost this faith. I have an experience of this. Now I'm speaking. I have an experience of this. In France, we were very poor in the beginning. So Prabhupada wanted us to open a temple. So somehow or other, by a miracle, we opened a temple. And we invited him to come. So first he went to Moscow from India. And then from Moscow he came to Paris. The day before he came, I was in deep, deep anxiety. We didn't have any money. We couldn't buy flowers. We couldn't buy boga. We didn't have a car. We couldn't even rent a taxi. That night, I could hardly sleep. I woke up very early in the morning, went down to the temple room. I started chanting. I was thinking, what are we going to do? We are going to hitchhike to the airport? But we can't hitchhike back with Prabhupada. Now, this is a true story. I'm not making anything up. I'm not elaborating it. While chanting, I noticed there was a brown bag in the temple room. It was a brown bag. So I picked it up. I looked inside, and it was full of money, more money than I had ever seen in my life. So immediately, I put it under my arm and covered it with a chadar. And I started to sweat, thinking, what will I do if someone comes looking for the bag? So I just started chanting. We had Mangal Arati, and it was, it wasn't really a temple room. It was just a room with a very small little altar with small pictures of Panchatattva and a few pictures of Parampara. By 11 o'clock in the morning, no one had asked me for the bag. We had to pick up Prabhupada at 1 o'clock in the afternoon from the airport. So I accepted this as Krishna's mercy. I gave people money to buy flowers, to buy boga. We got a taxi, and we went to the airport. Vyavasatmika buddhir ekaha kuranandana. Bhagavad Gita 241. One must have resolute faith, or unflinching faith, in the spiritual master. One must have unflinching faith in the spiritual master and in Krishna. Somehow or other, by the goodwill of Krishna, everything will work out. Srila Prabhupada has written a letter to a bhakta. He said, the spiritual master is present wherever his sincere devotees are trying to serve his instructions. This is possible by the mercy of Krishna. In your attempt to serve me with your sincere devotional sentiments, I am with you, just as my Guru Maharaja is with me. Always remember this. So in this way, we have to have faith. Guru Mukha Padma Vaikya Chitete Karya Aikya. My only desire is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from the lotus mouth of my spiritual master. Shraddha Sabde Vishwasakahe Surhida Nischaya Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karma Kritahaya. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 22.62. You must have faith But faith means you believe in something sublime, something you might not even see, but you know it exists. You might not see it, but you know it is there. Prabhupada said, my Guru Maharaj is with me. I never lost that faith. There is Vani, the words of the Guru, and there is Vapu, the physical presence of the Guru. Srila Prabhupada said that the physical presence will disappear, but the Vani will stay. If we keep the Vani, the words of the Guru and the spiritual master, then we remain fixed up. Just like the Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago, but if you keep the words of Krishna, then it is always fresh. It will guide you. Then you should know that Krishna is present with you. That means spiritual realization. It is not a mundane history. So in 1996, for Prabhupada's Centennial, I organized a program in San Jose, California. The guest speaker was Govinda Maharaja, the disciple of Sridhar Maharaj of the Gaudiya Math and Prabhupada's godbrother. And he said, today, my dear friends, I have come to make a confession. I think in your religion, you make confessions. Is it not? Everybody nodded yes. He said, my Guru Maharaj and I were sitting in Mayapur, Navadvip, and we were getting news that your Gurudeva, your Srila Prabhupada, your Swami Maharaja, was succeeding in the United States in spreading Krishna consciousness. We could not believe it. Now the question is, why did they not believe it? Because in 1933, Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur sent his best man, the most eloquent, the most refined, and most intelligent member of the Gaudiya Math to preach in England, and the Gaudiya Math sent him every month, or Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur sent him every month, 700 rupees, which might be like, I don't know, $7,000 or something like that today. After 4 years, he called him back to Calcutta. He wasn't able to make one devotee. And when he met Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, when Bhakti Siddhanta was standing at the bottom of the plank of the boat, and when he walked down the plank and he looked at his Gurudev right in the eyes, and he said, your process doesn't work. This was an insult to his Guru. 2 weeks before Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur disappeared, Prabhupada sent him a letter and said, Gurudeva, is there any service I can do for you? And Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur immediately replied back, yes, it would be very nice for you. You try to preach this gospel amongst the persons who speak English. So Prabhupada said, sometimes I was dreaming that my Guru Maharaj was coming to me and calling and saying that I must leave my home and follow him. I leave my children, leave everything and follow him. My Guru Maharaj wants me to give up my home, give up my family, and take sannyasa. So I was thinking, oh, this is horrible. How can I leave my home? That is Maya. Guru Maharaja, Prabhupada said, made me obliged to give up my home life. But his order and plan, by his order and plan, I gave up everything. I gave up a few children, but now Krishna has given me thousands of children. And he came, and Prabhupada came to the West and proved that his Guru Maharaj's process works, because he had absolute faith in the words of Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. So when I was a young devotee, I think it was 1973, I came for the first time to India. And it was the time of Janmashtami, and then Guru Vyasa Puja. And on the occasion of Guru Puja, the guest speaker, the honored guest, was the same person who had gone to England and failed. And it was Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja, and it was while the temple was still being built in Vrindavan. It was not finished yet. But we had the Vyasa Puja, and I was fortunate enough to be there. And on the occasion of Guru Puja, the guest speaker, the honored guest, was the same person who had gone to England and failed. At that time, the temple was not built yet. It was a construction site. I was sitting on a sand pile. There was no running water yet. You had to draw water from a well. But we were happy because we were with Prabhupada. On that day, Prabhupada was sitting on his Vyasa-san, and we were trying to glorify him. And 4 sannyasis came from Mayapur, and one of them got up to speak, Gargamuni Maharaj, and he said, Prabhupada is the only disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur who had so much faith in his guru that he was willing to risk everything, his life, his health, everything to please his guru. Not one of his godbrothers was able to do this. I was a little embarrassed when he said that. I was looking at the honored guest, his name's Ban Maharaj, and I was thinking, why is he speaking so strong like this? It's embarrassing. But the honored guest did not bat an eyelash. But when I looked at Prabhupada, he was smiling. He was very happy. Gargamuni Maharaj said, Prabhupada did what his guru and all the parampara, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, wanted. Priti rite achayata nagara adigrama sarvatma prachura haibe muranama. That this Sankirtan movement will be spread to every town and village and all living entities, even the animals and the insects. They will hear it and become Krishna conscious. Again, I looked at the guest, and he was stoic. He didn't bat an eyelash. I looked at Prabhupada, and now he was beaming. Then I thought in my heart, one day I will speak like Gargamuni Swami and glorify Prabhupada. And then the guest was given a chance to speak, and he said, we cannot but accept the fact that your Swami Maharaja has done great service. Now we know how much Prabhupada loved Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur said, even at the expense of all the properties of the Gaudiya Math, all the temples, all the matas, all that I have, if I could convert even one person into a pure devotee, my mission would be fulfilled. Prabhupada is that one devotee, the absolute pure devotee who fulfilled the prophecy of Lord Chaitanya. He fulfilled the prophecy of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that one day the white brothers from the west will come to Sridham Mayapur and dance with their Indian brown brothers in Harinam Sankirtan. These 2 prophecies, plus the fact that the message of Lord Chaitanya is spread all over the world, was accomplished by Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we cannot imagine how much Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur is smiling right now. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur disappeared, he went to see his mother. And he was late, so his father had already been cremated. His mother said, before your father departed, before your father departed, he offered you many blessings. Bhaktivinoda Thakur repeatedly mentioned that your firm faith in Suddha Bhakti is fixed, and he instructed, I made a mistake here. When Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur arrived after his father was already cremated, and his mother told him, before your father departed, he offered you many blessings. Bhaktivinoda Thakur repeatedly mentioned that your firm faith in Suddha Bhakti, or pure devotional service with love and devotion for Krishna, is fixed, and he instructed that you should serve Sridham Mayapur and propagate the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A few weeks before Bhaktivinoda Thakur had disappeared, he expressed his mano abhista, his heartfelt understanding, that he wanted to convey to his son, Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. He said, number one, establish Daiva Varnashrama. Preach Sudha Bhakti, pure devotional service, nothing mixed. Develop Sridham Mayapur and publish Vaishnava writings. He said, most people commit many offenses against pure Vaishnavas due to their false pride. He said, the means to rectify this is to institute Daiva Varnashrama. In 1956, Srila Prabhupada wrote an essay called Gita Nagari Village, and he outlined a 4-point process to spiritualize the whole world. The first point was Harinam Sankirtana. The second point was deity worship and establishing temples. He called these points movements. He said the third point was initiating devotees and training them to be pure Vaishnavas. And the fourth point was establishing Daiva Varnashrama so that there will be a classless society. Now, Daiva Varnashrama is exactly what we do in the temple. Anybody can come into the door. We don't say, who are you, where did you come from, what's your class, what's your caste. We don't say anything like that. Anyone can walk in, and as long as they are polite and a little bit submissive, they can be trained to become genuine devotees. Doesn't matter what their background is. So, he said, and the fourth point was establishing Daiva Varnashrama so that there will be a classless society. That is, that everybody, even the worst person, can come to the temple and become a pure devotee, and then there's no classes. Classes doesn't mean classes like lectures. Classes means there's no social, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras. Everybody can become a Vaishnava devotee. Right? How it can be classless when you have Varnas and Ashramas? Because if it is done correctly, all the Varnas and Ashramas will cooperate with each other and will become a classless society. No one will be in a situation such as I am Mexicano, or I am Telangana, or I am South Indian, or I am this, or I am that. Everyone will attain the perfection of life by cooperating with each other. In the beginning of time, Krishna sent forth Brahma sent forth generations of men and demigods and gave them sacrifices for Lord Vishnu. And he said, by performance of these sacrifices, you will receive all desirable things to live peacefully, happily, and prosperously. And at the end of life, you will all go back to Godhead. This is the program for Krishna consciousness movement. It was the point. It was point one of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his mano abhistam, his heartfelt realizations that he wanted to communicate to his son, Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. Second point was due to the lack of preaching what pure bhakti is. All types of bad theories and instructions are being called devotion by false sampradayas like the Sahajas. He said, crush these anti-devotional conceptions by preaching what pure bhakti is. And always manifest the highest standard of Vaishnava Sadachar by your behavior. Sadachar means good behavior of a Vaishnava. Vaishnavas should develop 26 wonderful qualities if they follow strictly Krishna consciousness. And he said, begin the parikrama of Sridham Mayapur as soon as possible. Then everyone in the universe will receive Krishna bhakti. Then he said, diligently endeavor that service to Sridham Mayapur becomes permanently established and more resplendent every day. So actually in the Padma Purana it is said, Naham tistanti vaikunte yoginam hridaye suva. Yatra gayanti mad bhakta tatra tistami Narada. Narada, I am not in Vaikuntha. Lord Vishnu is speaking to Narada. I am not in the heart of the meditating yogis. But whenever my devotees are chanting my glories, speaking about my katha, describing my form, my pastimes, that's where I am. That is what Mayapur is all about. In Mayapur you will see the best and the worst because everything is amplified there. But our motto should be, take the best and leave the rest. This is not a place for nonsense. This is a place where you can actually become a pure devotee. Tasmat sarve sukale sumad amusara yudyacha mayarpita mano buddhir mam evaisasya samsaya. Bhagavad Gita 8:7. At all times, Arjuna, think of me and do your duty. And with your mind and intelligence fixed on me, surely you will come back to me. So why are we here? I was speaking in Mayapur. We are here because thousands and thousands of people are coming here almost every day, and it will be millions when this temple is built, meaning the temple of the Vedic Planetarium. This is perhaps the greatest place in the world to preach. This is where Lord Chaitanya preached. This is where Lord Nityananda preached. Srivas Thakur, all the greatest devotees in the history of the world, they were preaching here. This is not a place for vishayis, for sense gratifiers. This is a place where you can actually attain Krishna consciousness or Krishna prema and share it with hundreds and thousands and millions of people. When we actually take that seriously, Srila Prabhupada becomes very pleased. That's why he went through so much trouble to build this place. So I will finish with one letter that Srila Prabhupada wrote. He wrote this to his devotees in 1967, and he says, I always think of you because you are my heart and soul. I am so pleased in your association. I am always thankful to my spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, for his favor by sending you to me, such sincere representatives of him to help me in my missionary activities in this part of the world. I consider you all as representatives of my Guru Maharaja to help me in my helpless condition. My God brothers did not help me, but my spiritual master helped me. So I do not think that I can ever forget you, even for a moment. I pray to Krishna for your more and more advancement in Krishna consciousness. Be happy and execute more and more service for Krishna, and Krishna will accept you in his association. Srila bhakti, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur ki jai, Sridham Mayapur ki jai, Radha Nila Madhava ki jai, Guru Premananda, Gaur Premananda, Hari Hari Bol. Okay, so that's the lecture I gave in Mayapur some years ago. So we should take the sacrifices made by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, to establish this movement and spread it all over the world. And now we have the special mercy of spreading it in the whole state of Washington. We should take it very seriously and start coming out on Sankirtan every Saturday. I'm not going to have to do any programs anymore on Saturday or Sunday, so that we can go out on Sankirtan in a large group and chant ecstatically, and also come to Mangal Arati and at least every Saturday and Sunday, and go through the whole program. And Sunday night, be present at 5 o'clock in the temple room, so that when anybody walks into our Sunday feast, they see many, many devotees ecstatically chanting Hare Krishna. This will change their mind if they see that. If they just see one or two devotees, that doesn't have such a big effect. If they see 50, 100 devotees chanting ecstatically for hours, this will affect them, and they'll be stunned by it. Just like when Lord Chaitanya chanted with his devotees in Sankirtan and festivals, people were stunned. And they realized, this is real life, and I'm going to be part of this. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. Are there any questions? Okay, so then we will have Guru Puja for Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. Jayo Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya bhakti Siddhanta, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya bhakti Siddhanta, Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Bandomu Savadana Mate. Bandomu Savadana Mate. Janara Prasade Bhai He Bhavatoriya Jai. Krishna Prabdi Hoya Hoite. Krishna Prabdi Hoya Hoite. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Koriya Kya. Arana Koriya Mane Asa. Arana Koriya Mane Asa. Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati. Ye prasade pure sarva asa. Ye prasade pure sarva asa. Chakshudana dilaje janme janme Prabhu se. Chakshudana dilaje janme janme Prabhu se. Divya Jnana Hridaya Prakasito. Divya Jnana Hridaya Prakasito. Prema Bhakti Jaha Hote Avidya Vinasa Jate. Prema Bhakti Jaha Hote Avidya Vinasa Jate. Vedic Janara Charito. Vedic Janara Charito. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adana Janara Bandhu. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adana Janara Bandhu. Lokena Lokera Jivana. Lokena Lokera Jivana. Ha ha Prabhu Kuradoya Deha More Padachaya. Ha ha Prabhu Kuradoya Deha More Padachaya. Ebe Askusukhi Bhuvana. Ebe Askusukhi Bhuvana. Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Nitai Gaur Haribol, Haribol, Gaur Haribol, Gaur Haribol, Nitai Gaur Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribol, Nitai Gaur Haribol, Haribol, Gaur Haribol, Nitai Gaur Haribol, Nitai Gaur. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Jaya Bhakti Sarasvati Devi, Bhakti Siddhanta Guru Deva, Bhakti Siddhanta Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Bhakti Siddhanta Jaya Guru Deva, Bhakti Siddhanta Jaya Guru Deva, Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribol. Nitai Gaur Premanandi ki jai, Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur ki jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Pararajikachara Astatara Satarashi Shishimaris Divine Grace Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Pararajikachara Astatara Satarashi Shishimaris Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vindi ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vindi ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Samakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Mayapura Dham ki jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Tulasi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Ganga Maya ki jai. Jamuna Maya ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vindi Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to his to Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Haribol. Now we will have the Pushpanjali ceremony. Do we have the flowers? Yeah. Om Aganyati Mirandasya Yanan Jana Salakaya Chaksur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Swapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pajakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaguna Ragunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Saidvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaguna Lalita Shri Vishaka Anvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Iti Namine Shri Vasavanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Madhur Ujvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namaste Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudapa Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Shakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralamba Rasambode Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchitananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gauravir Baba Bhumestvam Nirdesta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhumashri Shri Jagannatayate Namaha Vanchakalpatarabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurachuse Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Saktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Surator Pangor Mama Mandamatir Gati Matsarva Swapadambojo Radha Mohana Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vindaranya Kalpudramadaha Shimad Ratnagara Simhasanastito Shimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prestali Bihi Sevyamano Smarami Shiman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsivata Tatastita Karsan Venuswaner Gopi Gopinatak Striyestuna Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Rishabhanustute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Iti Namine, Shivasavani Videvi, Daitaya Kripabdaye, Krishna Sambandha Vijnana, Dayane Prabhave Namaha, Madhur Ujvala Premadya, Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida, Shri Gora Karuna Shakti, Vigrahaya Namostute, Namaste Gauravani, Shri Murtaye Dinatarine, Rupanuga Virudapa, Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine, Esha Pushpanjali Swaha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Rupanuga Bhaktida, Shri Gora Karuna Shakti, Vigrahaya Namostute, Namaste Gauravani, Shri Murtaye Dinatarine, Rupanuga Virudapa, Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine, Esha Pushpanjali Swaha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Iti Namine, Shivasavani Videvi Daitaya Kripabdaye, Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha, Madhur Ujjvala Premadya, Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida, Shri Guru Karuna Shakti, Vigrahaya Namastute, Namaste Guruvani, Shri Murtaye Dinatarine, Rupanuga Virudapa, Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So I've been asked to name the donors to the Juice Mobile, the Hari Juice Mobile. Hari Juice Mobile, yeah. So first is Damodar Haridas, $2,000. Amritananda Das, $500. Umesh Mehra, $1,000. Girish Bajaj and family, $1,000. Damodar Prasad Das and family, $1,000. Ravindra Singh, $500. Krishna Murli Das and family, $500. Sukirti Krishna Das and family, $1,001. Mukunda Das, $1,000. Rameshwari Devi Dasi family, $500. Vidyanath and Jankai family, $500. Krishna Chaitanya Das and family, $1,000. Radha Vinod Das and family, $250. Dhananjaya Das, $3,000. Ram Mukunda Das and Radhika, $1,000. Sudhakar Deviseti and family, $3,006. Shaman Sahu, $251. Nanda Maharaj Das, $1,000. Gopal Nalagatla and family, $500. Sujata and Arun Rangachari, $500. Srinivas Gopal Das and family, $500. Nitin Mujumdar and family, $2,001. Hari Vallabha Das and family, $500. Adi Deva Das and family, $250. Sharavana, $500. Hari Vilas Das, $10,000. Ananda Ram Das and family, $1,000. Shivani Anand, $165. Satvika and Gokul Krishna, $501. Subransu Sahu and family, $501. Pragati Bhagavat, $251. Rajesh, $501. Adi Purushadas and family, $500. Srinivas Chala and family, $251. Project Kripadas and family, $501. Gauranga Chandra and family, Gauranga Chandra Das and family, $1,070. Girish Shinde, $2,000. Chandra Shekhar and Sangu Batla and family, $2,500. Hemant Malik, $7,500. Abhishek Agarwal, $101. Nilam Bari Kanapriyan, $1,001. Pradumna Das and family, $1,001. Rasa Chandra Das, $500. Krishna Radha Adipali, $500. Okay, there's some that are not named here. Our dear devotee, Srinivas, what's your second name? Srinivas Chalan and family, $10,001. And then there's another family, he gave $1,000. What's their name? It's what's their name? Anyway, their little son is Pavan. Francois and Gitika, yes. $1,000. And there's more, there's some more. I forget their names right now. They didn't write it down on this list. But thank you very much. This is for the Hari Juice Mobile. So we're going to buy that very soon. So we collected over $6,400. Hari Bol. Thank you. Oh, $500. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of names missing here. So Ram Raghava Prabhu, thank you, and your wife. $66,000. Wow. So this is amazing. And what? In one day. Imagine if we did it 2 days. Haribol. Well, thank you very much. I know it's a little late, and this might be school tomorrow.
He's giving me a new idea.
What's that?
Pizza mobile.
The pizza mobile. Yeah. It'll happen. It'll happen. I don't want you all to go bankrupt, so I won't mention it.